Welcome to Materials and Methods Matter. In this episode, I will demonstrate the process of using charcoal in a reductive drawing technique. The first step of the reductive drawing technique is to prepare the surface. For this, you will need a sheet of heavy white drawing paper, a soft stick of vine charcoal, and a chamois. Start by taping down your paper, and then take a portion of your soft vine charcoal and break off a stick. You just need a small piece. Okay, we begin by basically covering the whole surface with the vine charcoal. After that, we take our chamois and basically rub this charcoal in. The next step of the process is to transpose our drawing onto our toned paper. So what I've done is I've basically traced out my drawing onto tracing paper. I then scribble on the back with a charcoal pencil, and then we will just transpose this drawing onto our toned sheet. In transposing the drawing, always use a soft pencil, not too sharp, because you don't want to cause indentations into your toned surface. Okay, if I make a mistake on this, it's very simple. I could just take my chamois and just go ahead and rub over that surface and remove the drawing. This is not a new technique. This is something the old masters used. It was called a cartoon. Today we call them tracings. They took their drawings, basically made a cartoon, transposed that onto a larger surface, saved their drawings. So there's no need to really reinvent the wheel. You can take drawings from your sketchbook to try new techniques. You don't have to come up with anything new. And basically we will go ahead and draw or trace and transpose this drawing onto our surface. I'll complete this and be back in just a minute for the next step. Now that I have my drawing transposed onto my toned sheet, the object of reductive technique is to work from the mid value, which is our toned sheet, and pulling out the lightest values and then adding charcoal for the darkest value. So to begin with, we will use a charcoal pencil and our kneaded eraser. So to begin, what we're going to do is I'm going to pull out some of the lighter areas. Next, we want to use our charcoal pencil and begin to add the darker values, and I do this lightly. Now that I've established my darker values over here on the right, I also have my light values, and then I have my middle value. I'm going to take a paper stump and begin to blend this in. Let me start with the small objects, for instance the handle, and lightly draw back in, blend, smooth out the charcoal. You can use the clean side or dirty side. If you want to clean the stump, you can actually wipe that off and get some charcoal. But actually I'm going to use this dirty part of the stump to actually begin putting in my shadow. With the cleaner part of stump, I'm going to come back over here to this transition between middle value and dark value and actually start to create a another value. This is all about contrast between light and dark, and then everything that's in between. On this side here, I am going to just bring back in a little bit of value. I'm going to continue on with the stump, and just kind of, as you could see, I've progressed a little, adding a difference in value between here and here, so we have it a little bit darker. Since this is a hard object, we do want to have some sharp edges. So what I did is, with my pencil, is just lightly kind of tap on the edge. Not the entire length, you know, here it's a little softer. I can just add a little bit more charcoal to that edge just to create a sharpness. But we don't want it a dark, thick line. And then we can come in and pretty much soften that up and make some adjustments. Okay, once I've done this, then I want to come back in with a soft charcoal, and up to this point I was using the medium, and I'm just going to use this in my darkest areas. For instance, the bottom. We have our shadow here yet to contend with a little bit more, and that grounds our object to the surface. This being our surface. We have a line back here, which again I can soften up. It's easier, I should say, when you have this transition between a mid value and a little darker value. If this is white, then this would really pop. Next step is adding the highlights, and again, just by dabbing the eraser. I'm going to come back and add this, just lightly with the pencil, make some marks, very light through the highlight area. And then I'm going to come back with my kneaded eraser and squeeze the end so you have a nice sharp point or sharp edge, and I'm just going to pull a little bit here, pull a little bit here. And if we get too much, so what's nice about having the stump, I can come back and pretty much take some of that highlight out. There's too much highlight in an area. Pull it back in, make adjustments to our drawing. As the last step of this is putting some highlights into the surface and making them look like we have a top here, a tabletop. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my kneaded eraser and increase the contrast. You can see how the difference of the value changes. And what I'm going to do is here I'm going to change it here. I'm going to erase a little bit of that charcoal off here. If we end up with smudges here, and for instance here, I could just take a clean stump and pretty much just lightly brush over areas. Stay tuned for the next episode when I demonstrate a spin on this technique using a sanguine toned surface. Materials and Methods Matter was inspired by my book, Making Art, Materials and Techniques for Today's Artist. For more videos on Materials and Methods Matter, as well as lesson plans and other instructional videos, visit Thalo.com.